Former SAA technical chairperson Yakhe Kwinana will have her day at the State Capture Commission of Inquiry. Kwinana has been implicated in wrongdoing by various witnesses since the inception of the commission. Now, she's alleged to have received kickbacks, spied on executives and influenced tender processes with various suppliers. Former board chair Dudumyeni is also expected to give evidence at the commission this week. It's going to be a busy day at the commission, busy week rather at the commission. Let me bring in Mbalenhle Mthethwa, our reporter covering this testimony for us. Mbali, thank you very much indeed for us. So before we talk about today's testimony, let's remind our viewers about last week's stream of evidence of testimony. Denel was very much in the spotlight. What were some of the big takeaways? Mbalenhle, you can hear us? All right. It seems that we don't quite have Mbali there. We will try to bring her back into the conversation as soon as we can. It is a very important week at the capture. The aviation-led stream of evidence this weekend. We can expect Dudumyeni as well to give testimony. We heard that from the Deputy Chief Justice, the chair of the commission, last week, in fact, when he was ending the session last week, said that we're going to hear from Ms. Kwinana as well as Dudumyeni this week. So we'll try to bring in Mbalenhle Mthethwa. Mbalenhle, can you hear us?
Yeah, you know.
All right, 100%. Thank you very much indeed. Oh, those gremlins, we can do without them, isn't it? Thanks, Mbali. So before we talk about this week, very important week with regards to the aviation-led stream of evidence, I want to remind our viewers about last week's stream of testimony. Denel, very much in the spotlight, and give us some of the big takeaways.
Yes, so Denel was on the spotlight last week, and two contracts which were awarded to a good-for-linked company called VR Laser were basically dominated most of the testimony from last week. We saw and we heard allegations that VR Laser was given preferential treatment and that Denel had gone against proper procurement procedures in order to award two contracts, to be exact, to VR Laser. One was a contract which was where Denel had gone out on a request for proposal. They requested a proposal from three service providers, and even though VR Laser's price was more expensive by 100 million rand, one of the managers to be giving them a chance and the opportunity to revise on their price and remove that 100 million, which would have obviously wouldn't have put them in the lead, but first they were given that opportunity to do that. They were placed in the lead. The second one is one single supplier contract, which was essentially meant to be for 3 years. However, it was irregularly extended to 10 years. And even though one supply manager had asked and had advised that Denel should go on an open and competitive tender in order to award this particular single supply contract, it seems as though Denel management went against that and awarded the contract to VR Laser nonetheless for a period of 10 years. We understand that the standard period is usually 3 years, so even the 10 years is a particular end of match.
Mbali, if I can ask you to just move around, the connection is not that great on your line. So that Denel stream of evidence, I understand, has been paused. It will resume, I think, sometime next week, if I remember the Deputy Chief Justice saying, or the evidence leader that was leading that stream of evidence was saying. But let's get back to Ms. Kwinana this week, today, in fact. Talk to us about some of the allegations that has been leveled against her.
So we've seen a number of witnesses speaking about Yakhe Kwinana and her involvement and her alleged involvement in wrongdoing. One that really stands out for me, and which was quite recent, is one Sibongile Sambo, who came in and told the commission that Sibongile Sambo had tried to solicit a bribe of 100 million rand from her. Now, this is an allegation that Yakhe Kwinana has denied, and we will see her answering questions around the events that took place leading to that alleged bribe and her soliciting that bribe from Sibongile Sambo. But we understand that she's also been implicated in other allegations. She's been at SAA a board member and come up quite prominently. She's also been named wrongdoing at South African Airways Technical, essentially just allegedly influencing certain tenders to go to certain individuals, and her company's name has also come up in a number of allegations, where the company is allegedly believed to have received bribes from certain suppliers and so on. So it seems as though she's also been at the center of, the awarding of irregular contracts, as well as allegedly receiving kickbacks from suppliers.
We're also expecting testimony from Dudu Myeni as well.
Yes, indeed. We are expecting testimony from Dudu Myeni. She is the former SAA board chairperson, and we do expect to hear her also giving her version of events relating to all the allegations that have been brought against her, not only from her involvement at SAA, but also we've also heard allegations of wrongdoing. And she's been implicated in allegations of wrongdoing, from other places like the Umhlathuzi Water Board. We understand that there is one witness who had his identity concealed from the public, who testified about how large sums of cash and of money in the form of bribes were essentially paid to Dudu Myeni and were also delivered to her home, essentially. And we'll hear a lot more about that. She's actually been implicated in a lot, and we've also heard the unions talking about the fact that the decay at SOEs like SAA is not something that, it's not as a result of workers not have been doing their part and have been really working and doing their part. However, it's management. Management has been, has run the entity, the SOE, down the drain, and as a result, workers have had to, suffer the consequences of mismanagement and maladministration. And unions were saying that workers are not responsible for the maladministration and mismanagement of funds, and therefore should not be punished for such. But we will hear a lot with regards to how these SOEs, find themselves in the positions they're in. We know that SAA has been under business rescue, and we understand that our government has provided the business rescue practitioners with that 10.5 billion rand, which was required in order to implement that business rescue plan, which will see the new SAA come forward. We understand that a lot of workers have already signed for voluntary service packages. We know that the business rescue plan, which was put together, envisaged a much smaller workforce at the SOE. We understand that also SAA Technical, a subsidiary of SAA, also found itself in a bit of a predicament where it had to stop its services or providing services to airlines such as Mango and SAA on the basis that on ground of non-payment, and essentially at the time the subsidiary had made mention of the fact that they also need the funds from the companies that they've been servicing, be it Mango and SAA, in order to run a sustainable entity and in order to ensure that workers are also paid their salaries and so on. So that is the situation SOEs have found themselves in today, and the State Capture Commission of Inquiry is essentially just giving us an idea of where the damage and where the rot may have started and what may have led to SOEs finding themselves in this kind of predicament.
It's important reporting, Mbali. Why? Because it sets us up, it teases the testimony that is coming up this week, important testimony at the State Capture Commission. Thank you very much indeed for your reporting, Mbalenhle Mthethwa there.